So for those of you who don't know, not only are we getting sequels to The Batman, which was a fantastic movie, my all-time favorite Batman movie, got great reviews, made a crap ton of money, but we're also getting a new Batman movie in James Gunn's new DC universe, which will obviously be kicking off with Superman. Again, the filming of Superman has looked absolutely awesome. A lot of the set photos and leaks and all of this type of stuff, right? It's enough to make a fat kid who makes YouTube videos pretty much pour all garlic aioli sauce out of his penis onto his screen, right? That's just legitimately how I feel. But there are some people who disagree, and not only are they a little bit like worrying about James Gunn's DC universe, but there's a certain narrative out there by a lot of people who, when they see that James Gunn is making his own Batman movie called The Brave and the Bold, they are saying, we don't need two Batman. Why are we getting two Batman who are both in two different universes, right? Why didn't they just add the Batman into James Gunn's DC universe? So in today's video, I'm going to be going to go over and my reasons and I think the obvious thoughts and predictions on why they are doing this and why I think The Brave and the Bold is going to be a fantastic movie, hopefully, and why I think it's going to be so different compared to Matt Reeves' The Batman. First of all, obviously, I am happy that The Batman is going to be kept to its own separate universe. It seems to be the way that they are making this Batman movie and film series is obviously extremely grounded. Again, there have been reports and rumors for a long time that we're going to be getting some more fantasy type of characters like Clayface added, but as we've seen, none of that has truly come to anything, and it seems like the main villain from all leaks of The Batman Part 2 will be Hush, who is a very grounded Batman villain who, again, doesn't really have any fantasy or bizarre things that's super unrealistic about him. Again, he's not going to turn into a big fucking pile of clay, right? It's just not going to happen. The Batman Part 2 is going to be a very grounded movie, very similar to the Batman it does seem to be. Again, what I think is going to be so different about Batman Brave and the Bold is that James Gunn is going to tap into that more fantasy and more, I think, comic accuracy of villains and characters that we just truly haven't seen in, I think, a Batman movie for so long. If we think of the last bunch of villains we've had, right? We've had the Joker, we've had Bane, Penguin, the Riddler, Catwoman, Ra's al Ghul, and the only really fantasy like Batman villains we've had in like the last 20 to 25 years was Two-Face, with half his face being like, you know, fucked, which again is very unrealistic, and the Scarecrow, I think, what he was able to do and fuck up your brain and make it seem like you're on whatever candy makes Pokemon evolve and get levels up in that game. I think those were really the only ones, right? We've had a lot of grounded Batman stories for a long time, and it looks like the Batman Part 2 is going to be no different. But I think it's very obvious with how this new James Gunn DC universe is coming about. You've got Superman, a man who can fly around and, you know, fucking shoot lasers out of his eyes and probably his penis as well. The Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, all of this type of stuff, right? Very fantasy, very comic book related. And I think The Brave and the Bold is going to be very similar. Don't be surprised if we start to see more characters like less grounded, more fantasy-driven type characters from the comics, like hopefully Clayface, like Mr. Freeze. Those type of villains, right, who may seem pretty unrealistic for a Matt Reeves grounded Batman movie. Again, not just that, when we do look at the Batman, he's a very, very like detective inspired Batman, obviously, and even though that's been a big character trait of Batman for so long, we know there are a couple of unrealistic things like Batman shooting his Batarang up and flying to the ceiling, right, and throwing Batarangs at people and defeating crime like that, which we haven't really seen in a grounded Batman movie for a long time. It's not like really, really grounded. Like, I just don't expect Matt Reeves' Batman to necessarily... I think he, like, did it once in the last movie, but with how I think this James Gunn's Batman is going to be, don't be surprised if fantasy shit like the Bat fucking grappler in like a grey form, like shit that you kind of see in the comics, that type of stuff gets used a lot more excessively. Batarangs, all of those type of things that we really haven't truly seen before. Again, I think the villains are the big one that's going to really differentiate these Matt Reeves Batman movies to James Gunn's new Brave and the Bold film. Again, even a character like Poison Ivy, someone who just doesn't seem to really fit, I think, in a grounded Matt Reeves movie that we haven't seen in live action for such a long time, would be so awesome. By the way, I'm pretty sure Poison Ivy in that movie was one of the first women in TV I ever had a fucking boner to. You guys probably didn't need to know that, but it might have put a smile on at least one of your faces, and that's, you know, I've done my job there, right? I think the more bizarre elements of, like, even the Bat family, having Nightwing, Robin, all of those type of characters, which I just can't necessarily see, you know, Matt Reeves doing. I can see him maybe having a Robin, but Nightwing is something I definitely could not see Matt Reeves obviously going to do. Red Hood as well. Those type of characters, I really think, are going to flourish in this new James Gunn universe. And we already know that he is going to be adding the Bat family into this movie. That was obviously confirmed as one of the big first things. And that's just something we haven't seen in a Batman film for so long. I think the last time Robin was mentioned was at the end of The Dark Knight Rises, when it was revealed that the detective or the cop was obviously Robin. And then previously before that, it was like 1997 or something crazy, which is over 25 years that we've had Robin in live action. We know that Damian Wayne is going to be in this new Brave and the Bold movie. That's just such a character that we never ever thought we would see in Batman movies for such a long time. So we got to remember, these Matt Reeves Batman movies are dark, they are grounded, they have villains that are pretty realistic, like the Riddler, like the Penguin, like Falcone, and like Catwoman. But I think James Gunn's Batman is going to have villains such as, you know, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, Clayface, hopefully a, like, Bane that's actually like Bane, not just a tough motherfucker like Tom Hardy was, but Bane that's like on some type of serum shit that's making him fucking enormous. His biceps popping out left, right, and center on the screen. Shout out Dave Bautista, he would be so perfect to play him. But you look at as well, Matt Reeves' Batman, he's in all black. He's in a very like realistic looking Batman costume. We've seen James Gunn and the costumes that he's got for the DCU so far being very bright, very comic book accurate, especially like, I think, Superman, the Green Lantern that we saw, Hawkgirl as well. I really think it's time now for James Gunn in his Brave and the Bold Batman movie to have a Batman that's just not in all black, which we've seen in Batman movies for the last 25 plus years. Let's do something that I don't even think has ever been done in live action, maybe than the Flash movie. I think Ben Affleck had like a grey suit. But let's do something that we haven't seen really in live action and have a much more colourful Batman. Let's go back to the grey silver Batman costume with the blue cape, the blue mask, and the yellow logo, of course, on his stomach. That's what I definitely feel like James Gunn is going to do. It seems like his movies are a bit more colourful, a bit more hopeful, and that's a Batman from the comics and the Lego games, all of the above, that we just have not seen in live action. So I think that would be really, really awesome. So not only I think a lot of the villains going to be a lot more bizarre fantasy, actually straight from the comic type villains, I think this Batman is going to hopefully have his grey silver suit to be a lot different from Robert Pattinson's all black and the Bat family, which is something that I honestly didn't know if I was ever going to see in live action ever again. And we're hopefully going to be seeing them play a massive role in this Brave and the Bold movie. And I also like the idea, and I think it'd be really cool if James Gunn named these movies after like popular comics, popular like cartoon animated episode / series that he already seems to be doing. The Brave and the Bold is a very popular animated cartoon TV show that I think was coming from the comics as well. There's some other names here. After The Brave and the Bold, it'd be awesome if we got a movie called Heart of Ice or Heart of Freeze, something like that, which would have Mr. Freeze as the villain. I saw one that was actually called House and Garden, which would obviously have Poison Ivy maybe as the villain. That would be another really cool idea. And all of these names would just very much differentiate itself from the Batman Part 2, the Batman Part 3, like the Dark Knight names and all those type of stuff, right? I think it would be really cool, and they would be absolutely cooking hard if they name these movies after these, I personally think. But I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Comment if you guys think that we should be getting new Batman movies and all of this type of stuff. You guys like that they've got 2 different Batman now. What would you name these movies and whatever they might be called? Is House and Garden, is Heart of Freeze, Heart of Ice, is Brave and the Bold a good name? All of the above. Definitely don't forget to make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.